What is going on, guys? Call me Robin here, and I am here with the one, the only, BN10K of YGO.
Hi.
Yeah. He was suggested by Yugi No, and I know the podcast is a little late. We've had a little bit of scheduling issue on my end personally because I've been working. But yeah, I'm just glad to have him here. Just something new, you know.
Yeah.
I've been doing this podcast. First one was with my friend Tony, who's the other half channel, and he's slowly
Oh.
switching to more of doing the thumbnails and everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's why I'm like, well, I'll just do the podcast if you just want to do the thumbnails, and we should have that middle ground.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
And I was like, I'm just gonna slowly, one by one, reach out to all these YouTubers and try and be that middle ground.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's got their thing, man. Even I've got my own little interview series. So
Yeah, I saw that. I watched all of you know. Personally, something that like threw me off. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I started the podcast, I was expecting a different personality than what's in the videos. But like most of the people I've talked to already, they're just completely how they are in videos, and it's shocking to me.
yeah, a lot of us are
Yeah.
like some people they put on a face. Some of us just kind of like oh yeah, this is just who we are. We're just the goofy guy you see on the screen.
Like me, that's how I am. Like I've done, like I told Tyler, I was like, I've done YouTube now 3 or 4 times, and every time it's me in the group, we just didn't click because we were just like, well, we don't want to cuss because we want to get monetized. Blah, blah, blah. We were just doing different things, and I'm like, you know what? Excuse my language, but fuck it. I'm gonna be myself. I'm tired of having to put on a face because when I can be myself, that's when I'm gonna make the best content.
That's true. That's true. I get the whole wanting to get monetized thing. I'm chasing it too.
Yeah,
But
it's all part of the
you
grind.
can't sacrifice who you are
Yeah.
to get there, and you shouldn't have to either.
No. And that's why I saw your Yu-Gi-Oh channel just retired the other day, and that kind of messed me up because I just recently went back and started watching some of his videos again. I watched him back whenever he first started too, and I was like, man, it's been that long, 6 years, 7
Yeah.
years. And I remember back whenever I thought Simply Unlucky was one of the best Yu-Gi YouTubers, but then I started getting into Galactic God, got into all these different Yu-Gi YouTubers, and I'm like, man. And like all the old school ones are just slowly dying away, and I'm like, my heart.
Right. All the legends are quitting, and now it's up to the the new guard to try to keep it going.
Yeah. So my first question goes, what got you into Yu-Gi tubing, and where did you get the username Ben10K?
Okay, so actually, truth be told, the Ben 10K thing started off as a joke. I was with some friends, and we were like saying we were trying to do this thing where we were like comparing like what based on our face, what superhero do we look like?
Yeah.
And my buddy says my annoyed face makes me look like grown up Ben 10 from the cartoon. So I look over at it and I'm like, oh my god. And then I had a subscriber tell me I have resting Ben face. So there you go. That's where the name comes from. I look like Ben 10,000 from the cartoon when he's annoyed. So that's where I don't know why.
Yeah. So what got you into Yu-Gi tubing?
Oh, I actually tried a long time ago. But I used to work for a retail store. It rhymes with Mall Mart. Yeah, just that's me covering my butt.
Yeah, because they'll copyright me. I know they will.
Yeah. Basically, it rhymes with that, and I used to work for them. And needless to say, the people that I worked for, excuse me, this particular Walmart, they like to beat you down, and so you'll and you'll work hours on end and overtime and not get paid the right way. It was a nightmare. Anyways,
I understand the not getting paid the right way. I worked for Burger King, and I left their company because I wasn't happy what I was doing. Blah blah blah. They were pushing me to the edge of my mental health, and after I got my mental health straight, I went back to them, and they didn't give me a login numbers. They're like, oh, we're just keeping track of all of it. But when I got my last check from them, I was missing 27 hours.
Yeah,
and
I've had that happen.
And I tried to call them out on it, and they're like, and as soon as I called them to ask them, hey, where 27 hours go? Don't worry about coming back. You're done here. I opened a workforce commission case, and I never got anything out of it. They went in and they went through all the stores, and they figured out that the manager and general manager and the district manager, They were rounding
Mm-hmm.
off hours to the district manager's second last name.
Ah,
So they were pulling hours from everybody else and throwing it somewhere else. That way they can profit off of it.
yeah, that's not unheard of. I had a similar situation with a job I took after Walmart,
Yep.
as I'm calling it for this.
I mean,
You know,
back in the day when I first started doing YouTube again, back in January 2017, I literally had Dr Pepper copyright me for having their logo in my video. I
it's so
don't blame
stupid.
you. Exactly. I'm
It's
like, I'm
so
just
that's
drinking
so
Dr
dumb.
Pepper.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're copyright. I mean, in YouTube's defense, YouTube is getting better about that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
It's a slow grind because they have to kind of like, okay, well, we have to work with these companies, and then in the same time they can't let those companies screw over the YouTubers, because then the YouTubers will leave, especially now because we have options.
Yeah. We can go to
You literally
Twitch. We can go to YouTube. We can go to Mixer. We can go pretty much.
TikTok, man, you can
Yeah.
even go to TikTok. I mean,
Yeah.
like literally half of my content is just me being goofy. I mean, what's to stop me from going over to TikTok and instead of my
Exactly.
voice talking, you hear Jack Black?
Exactly. Like me, that's something that I've extended my thoughts out to. I'm like, well, for now, because like I said, I do variety. I play games because I'm not full time Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. I used to
Uh,
be from like 2015 to all the way to like 2018, and just Yu-Gi-Oh just took too much of my life, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know how you feel. Like, even I had to take a break a few times.
Yeah.
So, like, I just basically what I would do in those times is I just either play like an older format, or I just say casual games only, and like, for example, in Necros format, that's probably the time I was the least competitive as a player. I was like, nope, yeah, that's a mono deck format, and I cannot afford that mono deck, so I will pass.
Yeah, the deck that the format that I was least competitive in was Zodiac format
Oh,
because
Zodiac,
I
yeah,
played
yeah.
Zodiac once and I said, "Fuck this format. I'm gonna wait till ban list."
I actually came back with a vengeance once Dinosaurs came out, because
Oh
I was
yeah,
like, all right, now
yeah,
I've got a deck that can put that Trident face down with
yeah,
a Miscellaneous Aurus. So
yeah.
yeah, so you pop something now.
True King Dino is so whack. Like they could just do
Oh
so
yeah,
much, and that's why
oh yeah,
like at my locals before all this shutdown and everything, there's a kid there that plays True King Dino and he's getting top cut every single week, and I'm like, that's you can't question that because he's like consistently getting the top cut.
yeah.
Yeah,
That deck's a beast, man.
it
it's
is.
it's probably my favorite deck right now.
Yeah.
Uh, Mostly just because, truth be told, I like decks that actually fight. I don't really like alternative, like these, like alternative win condition decks. That's just not my cup of tea. I might play it for a video, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And then, but to answer your question about why I got into YouTubing, I'd actually gotten into it a long time ago, on what is now my geek channel, and then a mental situation just kind of browbeat me with my job at the time. So they made me feel like my job at that retail store was more important than my personal goals. And through experiences, I figured out that was not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So I came back and I thought, man, there's no way I can make this a Yu-Gi-Oh channel now. So I decided to rebrand and make a new channel, and the new channel is now far surpassed that one, and that one is now my geek channel. So
Um, I mean, another thing that my friend Tony brought up, I asked him if he had a couple questions that he wanted me to ask. Like, how did it feel to have to restart? That's like a hard question to ask because like I know personally I've had to restart 3 times, start getting a following, lose everybody, and he's wondering when did you start getting a following?
well, for me, I didn't really have one to. Well, I did have a good chunk. I had like 500 subs or something like that. But then I just didn't make content, and they all left. So for me, it wasn't as hard to rebrand and start over again, because when you don't make content for a couple of years and everyone leaves, you're just like, wow. And I was a small guy to begin with, so it's not like anyone remembers that channel. So
Yeah.
I renamed the channel a different name, let that channel be its own thing, and now it's back up with almost 300, just talking about Netflix shows. And my Yu-Gi-Oh channel is popping.
Yeah,
So
it's popping. That's what I mean.
yeah.
Like, I'm slowly getting my feel back for Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, I personally, I'm low key kind of starting beef in the Yu-Gi-Oh world with Triff because I really don't feel
Hmm.
like he's a pin god. No offense to him, it's just it's questionable, you know.
Yeah, but
It's
see, that kind of beef is the fun beef, where it's like
yeah.
you don't actually hate the person, you just pretend, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's like,
like,
yeah.
I was in his stream like last week, and me and my friend Tony were in there, and I was like, "Hey," because I won his first YouTube tournament to win his playmat, and I was like, "Hey, I know I won by technicality because the guy's laptop died and he was out with his girlfriend at the dentist." I was like, How about you face me 1-on-1 because he's playing ranked at the time, and I'll show you that my win wasn't a fluke. He's like, "Oh, I'm just playing ranked right now." Literally 5 minutes later, he's playing against someone that just randomly popped up into the stream, asking for one-on-one outside of ranked. And I'm like, is this man scared of me?
I have no idea. I
Yeah,
couldn't. I don't. Truth be told, I haven't been able to like interact with Triff at all.
yeah,
Not that I'm against the idea. I mean, like if I could get him on for my series, heck yeah, I'd talk to him.
yeah. Me too. I asked him because like I said, me and him we kind of got close. Like whenever I first got in, I was like, hey, you're a cool dude. I believed in the pin god at the time, and then just slowly as I was watching the videos, I'm like, you're not gonna be able to make a board like that every time, Triff. You're overhyping the deck. Like personally, like my friend Tony said, this pendulums aren't always gonna be the best deck, and he's got to realize that. Me like
Whatever, Dino's best deck, man.
yeah,
That's right. I said
exactly.
it. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. I'm just
difference
kidding.
is at least they survived so many formats. They didn't really get hit too fucking bad.
I mean, like, look, everybody's got their pet deck, man.
Yeah,
Everybody has one. Like, in my
Mark's.
case, it's Lightsworn. Actually, Lightsworn is my pet deck. I'm always like, every now and then, casually, I just kind of pick it up, see what it can do, and then I like, I'm waiting. There'll be a card that'll come out, like Fairy Tale Snow when it came out. Yeah, I was like,
You're like,
and
Light Sworns, come
Lightsworns are
here.
back.
Yep. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
personally,
and
something I loved since I came back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is whenever the Monarch structure deck came out. I love
yeah,
Monarchs. That's why even the joke between me and my friends, I am the Monarch of Monarchs, because that's all I played for like 2 years straight.
I got you.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Monarch's solid deck though still.
yeah, my history of decks is like this weird like Cyber Dragon Synchro deck back in the day. I didn't say it was good. I just
My first deck was a Fiend's Mirror Turbo deck.
okay. So good. It's not just me.
Yeah, I mean,
We all played weird shit.
yeah, that's the thing. Back whenever we first started, I think we all started in school. Personally, I think that's what most people are. We just picked up a deck. Like, well, I wonder if I throw this in, what I can do here. You know, that's back before we
Right.
knew about spell speeds and summoning conditions, stuff like that.
Yeah. Actually, the only reason why I even bothered playing Cyber Dragon is because I was like, oh, if I play level 3 tutor in Cyber Dragon, I can make any synchro I want.
Hmm.
And all I wanted to do was make Stardust Dragon. So
Yeah,
that's all I did. It didn't.
it's easy.
There's a reason I got my butt kicked. That's all I'm saying. Because
Yeah,
Stardust Dragon's not the end all be all. Like the show lied to me.
yeah. I mean, honestly though, like nowadays though, Cyber Dragon's still a threat in this format because it has the backup of its support now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, and that's truth be told is if you're gonna play Cyber Dragons, you need to play the Cyber Dragons kind of in the way that it was intended. I was just using Cyber Dragon
Hmm.
and level 3 tuners so I could make Stardust. Like that was the whole deck. It was so bad. It was so awful. It was like 60 cards of just jank.
So, my question: if you could go back to little you, back before you knew what all this was, what deck would you throw at the kid?
Uh, like, okay, so you're saying like if I could go back in time, what deck would I build?
Yeah,
Man, that's a tough one.
yeah,
I mean, if I go back, man, like when I started playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, like if I knew but back then, I mean, I probably would have come up with some like anti-meta type of deck, because I don't want to spend money. But
yeah.
if I could go back to when I actually had a decent amount of income coming in, I would tell myself to not buy packs, buy singles. I will
Oh
spend less.
yes, that's the best thing you can do is buy singles.
Like so literally, I bought so many packs in Dragon Ruler format.
And
And
not
I
one
got
full.
I got all the Dragon Rulers, all of them. But I did it buying a shit ton of. I must have spent a couple hundred. I must have spent like $500 just to get a measly like maybe $100. And then I realized how stupid I was now like realizing I could have had the best Dragon Ruler deck. I was playing Dragon Ruler Synchro because that's all I could get. I couldn't afford Big Eye. At least I didn't think
Yeah,
I could afford Big Eye and Dracossack. Looking back on it, if I had just bought the Dragon Rulers and those Xyzs, I probably would have matched the price I spent on
exactly.
packs. It was ridiculous.
I mean, like the most I spent is back whenever Circuit Break first came out. I was trying to get Borload. I just got like a little bit extra money from my job. I spent about like $400 on boxes, pulled 3
Yeah,
evenlies, and then 1 Circuit Break, and I'm just like, I'm done. I can't do this. I can't
yeah.
do this.
You realize, oh, I would have spent less money if I'd have just.
Yeah, I could have just bought the fucking Borload and just been happy, but no, my dumb ass was like, I'll just buy the packs. But
I
me,
mean,
if I could
and,
go back, I personally would have told myself, because in 2011 when I first started playing,
mhm.
I would have literally found a way to tell myself to build Zombie Dino.
There
those,
you go.
those were the days, man.
Back when it was Yu-Gi-Oh, it was a little simpler.
Yeah, back whenever you
Uh,
could just normal summon and not have to worry about a spiritual tribute every single time.
yeah, good day, good times.
Good times. Back before hand
uh,
traps were a thing.
yeah. I still like, and this is something I don't do. Like, I don't record this because, like, and I don't want to actually hurt anyone's feelings, so I don't ever type it out. But like, I'm one of those people when somebody plays something that I get mad about. Like, I like say that Ash Bosh me, I'm like, bitch, black him. I'll do that at
Yeah.
my own laptop. Uh,
I think
it's
we all do.
yeah, it's just my way of getting out frustration because I'm like, I know that person can't hear me, so it's not like I'm going to hurt
Yeah,
their feelings or anything. So it's
exactly.
like, it's a win. I get out my frustration. That person has no clue that I'm angry. It works.
Yeah, I mean, my next question is, what are your thoughts on hand traps like evenly matched in Infinite Impermanence?
Okay, so the thing about powerful cards like those particular traps is I'm of the mindset, in my opinion, this is where Yu-Gi-Oh is wrong completely, and this is going to tie into what you're asking. I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh takes powerful cards and they do it the wrong way. The collector's cards should be the high price cards, in my opinion. So, like for example, like the Dark Magician girl with her tits hanging out or whatever.
Yeah,
That's the card that should cost a lot of money, and then they should commonize all the powerful cards so everybody else can get a hold
yeah.
of them.
That
That's
or
just how I feel about it.
that or LOB Blue Eyes First Edition. Whew.
Yeah, exactly.
That should be worth money, but
Exactly.
not cards that are meta relevant, because there are so many copies of it that they're still keeping the price because people are going to buy that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that annoys me about like that Konami does is they make the most powerful cards obviously the most expensive because they make them the highest rarity and the hardest to pull. So on the secondary market, they're going to be high priced.
Yeah.
So, so there you go. That's how I feel about it. Like I don't have a problem with hand traps. I just feel like hand traps, or they should make a slightly weaker version of the same card, but for the budget players.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Like I don't. Yeah, like I don't
that's
have a
most of the
problem with
players.
impermanence, but if you're gonna make make it an inversion of impermanence, but like a trap card that does pretty much the same thing, but maybe it doesn't turn off the whole row or whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, just turn off like that one spell. Well, like turn off like that one spell or shot zone or something like that. Like
Yeah,
don't make it way too strong like that. Because like I miss the good old days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back whenever you could just go through your whole turn, not have to worry about fucking a Nibiru getting dropped on you or an Ash or a Droll, and you're just like, because those really are combo enders. Like honestly.
yeah. I don't have a problem with hand traps. Like I said, I feel like they're. I was like, for example, I don't like that Konami banned certain ones like Maxi. I'm like, no. If we have freaking Nibiru now and impermanence, and you're telling me Maxi's too strong for the game, I'm like,
Exactly.
please.
I understand drawing cards is really strong, but whenever that's enough to stop your opponent, it's not as strong as a Droll making it where you can't search your deck for the rest of the turn.
Yes, and that's the part. Like I like the thing I like about Maxi is it puts it on the opponent to decide whether they want to keep going or not.
I
So I
remember,
drop the
yeah,
I drop the Maxi. The opponent goes, do I want him to draw 5 cards?
exactly.
I'm playing an FTK deck. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean,
you know.
my thing about it back, I'm a good miss the good old days of Max C challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like, and then of course, and that's the thing that always bothers me is every time I see Konami like make a common print of a really powerful card like Maxi, I go, they're about to ban it.
Exactly.
That's how I look.
That's how
I'm
you
like,
know.
that's how I know. Yeah, that's the warning shot. They're like, oh, by the way, we're about to ban this. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah, that's why like whenever they did the Soul Burner structure deck, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting Ash to get banned.
Yeah,
I was
I was
low-key
kind of
like, are they really about to ban the hand trap?
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And then of course then it was fine. I'm like, yeah, and now we're in a format where it's like impossible to Ash Blossom somebody effectively.
Yeah, I mean some I've also thought about going towards the ban list. After the power creep that pendulums now have because they have to still follow the link format of Master Rule 4. Do you
Hmm.
think we could see Monkey Board and Skull Crobat come back?
I mean, personally, I say yes
Yeah,
because especially because there's no such thing as like pending 5 from the extra deck anymore.
yeah.
I mean, so if you set up the right link monsters, you could get like maybe 3
Mhm.
if you set up the right link monsters, but you're gonna caught. I mean, the truth is like that's something that like your link monsters will have to survive the following turn to pull that off. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, there's a lot of cards on the ban list I think could come back. I think the
Maybe,
Dragon Rulers have been
yeah.
power crept.
Maybe even Astrograph because Electromite is now banned. Because
Yeah.
Astrograph, like I'm not gonna lie, back before I got really competitive, I played a weird Odd Eyes Magician deck that dropped Supreme King's Arc turn 1,
Yeah.
and I got it from my friend Tony because he's like, well, I'm building another deck, blah blah blah. I'll trade you this for that. I'm like, all right, I'll pick up the deck. Picked up the deck. That's whenever I started deep getting into competitive, getting online, looking at deck builds, everything. And I was like, man, I can combo this. And we turned around. We turned it from dropping 1 Zark per turn to make it where we can drop a double Zark. There's not really much out to 2 Zarks.
Nope, no, I don't think so. I don't know, sure. I mean, like I remember back in like Pendulum format, I was playing what my buddies called PK Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
So how when pendulums were really big, Burning Abyss, Phantom Knight was
Yeah.
one of the big decks, and they
PK
called it PK
Fire.
Fire. Yeah, I did it with Lightsworn instead of
Yeah.
Burning Abyss.
Ah, that's smart.
So my buddies called it PK Lightning. So it was like that was something that my friends always like is that I come up with like kooky decks like that. So like I played like I said in Dragon Ruler format when everybody else was playing Draco Sack and Big Guy. I was playing the Synchro variant, summoning things like Stardust Dragon,
Ancient
for some
Fairy.
Ancient Fairy Dragon. Yeah, I was summoning or Star Eater, things like that. That's what I was doing, and then
Ultimate
everybody
Zulkin.
Ultima Sulk. Uh, no, I didn't get a chance to do that one, I'm afraid. But yeah, but I would have if I'd been able to get a hold of it back then. But yeah.
Because
So,
that was a strong combo back in the day with Ultimate
oh
Zulkin.
yeah, oh
And
yeah.
he's still, I'm right, Zulkin's still a big money card? Hang on, let me look real quick. I can tell you.
Well, it's been reprinted, so I think it's got a lower rarity reprint now. So you can, so I think everybody can get a hold of it for like a couple bucks. Last I heard.
$10 still.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not too shabby.
Considering the card used to be like $200.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, like, and now that we're in Master Rule 5, I mean, it's a valid strategy. It truly is. Like,
Yeah.
so if somebody wants to, find a way to do it, I mean, there's a plethora of ways to get there.
Yeah, I mean, one card that used to be like really meta relevant that I don't really see anymore is Trishula.
Yeah, Trishula's kind of lost its steam. I mean, although I am glad that Konami put it back to 1, because and 1's where it really needs to be at. We don't need loops. But
No.
being able to make the opponent like maybe go like -2, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
It
not
really
too.
is.
Yeah, it's good. It's just not broken anymore.
Yeah, like Trish was a good going first or second card no matter what deck you were playing.
Yeah, because you ripped a hand and you ripped a card on the field, and then depending on what the deck you're up against, you rip something out of the graveyard. That could hurt.
Yeah. So especially like now, a good card that would be good to summon against is Eldritch. Shuffle Eldritch back into the deck. Go no.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Trishula banishes, right?
Oh yeah, Banish. Sorry.
Yeah.
That
It's
tells you how
just-
long it's been since I played the Trishula.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason why I remember is because I actually play it in my dinosaur deck as a one-of, so, I occasionally get it off.
So what are your thoughts on the current meta right now? Because it's online tournaments, but it's mostly Eldritch and a few other decks.
I've seen Adamante, and I think I saw something about water being good right now. So far, I haven't come across a lot of Adamante. I have come across a lot of Eldritch.
Eldritch is
Eldritch.
it's
Eldritch.
such a good grind game with that deck. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, and the invoked version, that one is that version of the deck is gnarly. Like literally the best out of all the decks that I've been playing lately. my dinosaur deck has the best shot at it. Like, and my Dark Magician deck, ironically, has a good Eldritch matchup, but only because I play a weird variant that turbos Eradicator Epidemic Virus.
I don't blame you because you kind of have to with that. It's hell.
Yeah. So also like, well, I play the like the most budget-esque versions of these decks most of the time. So like my Dark Magician deck literally has like, I don't have souls, I don't have hardly any of the new support. I just have like the reprinted
Yeah.
print versions of all the Dark Magician navigation stuff,
Yeah.
because I play cheap decks, man. I don't have the money to spend anymore.
Exactly. Me, same here. Like me, I'm busy paying bills and everything. It's not like it used to be back before I was paying bills, or I could just easily drop $200, buy 2 boxes, and go open all of it and try to flip it for profit. No, it's not even like that anymore.
I mean, and I might go back into that, like, but I've got to get this YouTube channel monetized first before I attempt that. So, so for now, yeah, and I mean, I'm lucky enough that I've been able to make friends in this area. So it's like, I've got, and other small YouTubers seem to like my content, so they keep shouting me out. So I'm like, I'm getting lucky in that aspect.
Yeah, and that's why, like, whenever you pointed me in your direction, I was like, man, I never saw your content before, but I started watching. I'm like, man, this dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good about thinking outside the box. That's kind of my niche. I when it comes to playing the game, I'll tell you if I think the deck's tier 1 or tier 0 or tier 2 or whatever, and most of my decks are not that great, but that's okay. I'm here to entertain you and make you laugh and that kind of thing. It's what my whole channel is all dedicated to. So
I mean, that's my favorite part about doing YouTube and Yugi-tubing is entertaining people.
Yeah,
like people think it's about the money. Yeah, the money is a plus, but I like seeing people laugh and smile at my content because I'm just being myself,
Yeah, I mean, people, and plus like the skits that I've been doing lately, and that was also inspired by Yugi No, since we're talking about it. The first time I actually did skits on my channel, it was the year that he quit.
Yeah, that year messed me up. I'm not gonna lie. That was
but that year he quit. I was like, well, shit. Somebody's got to be the funny man in the YouTube community. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna pick it up. So that's where the whole Ben 10 thing started. So I got the face thing, and then I was like, and then I made the watch. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be hilarious, because I literally like turned into a Yu-Gi-Oh monster on screen using like PNGs and stuff, and people were like, and a few people were giving me like a gimmick or whatever, and then but now people are just like, they like it. They seem to think it's hilarious. So.
The link I just put in, we actually got this skit idea from Yugi No whenever he did the Break My Board skit. And we did it our way, and that's why I even put in the title Yugi Nope.
Yugi Nope? Oh, goodness.
Yeah. That's why I was like, you know what, if I'm going to go above and beyond, why not?
There we go.
Yeah, he's just, that's what I was saying. If it wasn't for Tyler, I really wouldn't have considered coming back to Yugi tubing, personally.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's and what's funny is like him and I have talked about, like, and I know he doesn't plan to stay on he plans to be a content creator for a long time. He doesn't plan to stay on Yugi tubing forever.
Exactly. I don't think we all do. Sooner or later we all do need to move on. Kind of like your Yu-Gi-Oh channel said, we can't just sit here and rely on this to be the one thing we do our whole life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, even actually, truth be told, I'm not even solely relying on being a Yugi tuber. I also am an author on Amazon, so I wrote a book.
I saw that on one of your links, and I was like, that. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm going to the minute I get my stimulus check. I'm still waiting on it.
You and me both, brother. I always give this anyone a fair warning. I am a self-published author on Amazon, so that means I don't have an editor. So. Just giving you fair warning. I also have mild dyslexia, so you're going to catch a lot of mistakes.
Oh, that's
just,
good.
Giving you
like
fair
reading,
warning.
Man. I read really fast. Even whenever I was in kindergarten, I was reading college level books.
The only thing college level I had in kindergarten was vocabulary, so I can say it. I can't spell it. But luckily, and that's not most of my issue. Like I was talking about with the book thing, the most of the thing that you'll catch is my is would be backwards, or like the word the will be spelled like HTE or something.
Yeah.
Or like is might be missing, but you'll catch it. You know what I mean?
I'll catch
So
it, but like I said, I could read past it. I have
yeah,
friends that text like that too, and I'm like,
yeah, you'll be able to decipher what I'm trying to say in the
yeah,
book.
yeah,
I mean, the truth is, like, and if at some point I actually can afford to pay somebody to edit it, I will, and then release an updated version of the same book because Amazon lets you do that. But for now, there it is. It's
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
So, uh, yep, that's what I got.
So next question. I know you've been doing a lot, especially with the Blue Eyes video and everything. But how long
Mhm.
does it take you to film and edit those videos?
Okay, so that's a good question. Um, the skit part of those videos is actually one of the parts that takes the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And the
That's
reason
awesome.
why is because I always have to throw something in there, like a transformation, or I have to make my watch talk, or I have to get a sound effect so you guys can like hear something or somebody off camera.
Yeah,
So because it's just me, I don't have a team or anything to do this. It's all me.
yeah.
So that then of course I have to plan a skit that kind of goes with the deck. So like for example, the Blue Eyes video, what's associated with Blue Eyes? Seto Kaiba.
Mm-hmm.
So and the joke on my channel, it's kind of a running gag, is my watch is Kaiba's personality.
Mm-hmm.
So it like insults me all the time. Yeah, because there's actually more than one video where the watch talks to me.
Yeah.
um, and then of course for the Blue Eyes one, if I don't know if you heard, but that roar is actually the Blue Eyes White Dragon roar from the show.
Oh, really? That's how do you even catch that?
Yeah. So like when you hear that roar in there, that's literally the dragon soundbite, which I had to make that, by the way. I
Really?
had to record it. All right, so I have an app on my computer that lets me transfer a video file, an MP4, and turn it to an audio file, which is an MP3.
Yeah.
So basically, I have to use my OBS software, find the video, and then I can cut it down to the size I need it to, and then I put it in that app, and then I turn it into an audio file, and then I save that in my music file on my computer, and
I
then I have it's a whole process.
I do this. I do that stuff too sometimes. Like me, I with my montage and everything, I'll be putting like
Mhm,
different music in it, and that's why I have a friend that does EDM, and he said I'm
mhm.
allowed to use any music that he does. So I'm using that, and I'm using non-copyrighted by like the looper and everything.
Yeah. And I actually do use some copyrighted music, but the trick is you don't want to do it with copyrighted music right now with YouTube is you don't want to do it in the first couple minutes.
Yeah.
That's where YouTube will catch it and do an automatic copyright. I think they do a copyright claim, not a strike.
Yeah.
So the thing with that is if it's the difference between a claim and a strike for the audience who may not know. A claim, it just means that if there's ads on the video, you don't get the money. The people who own that song get the money.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it's important to know not to put it in the first few minutes, like the first like 2 or 3, is because if you like, for example, if I want to use actually copy, what is it, the fair use amount of music, which is what I do, I don't use more than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I don't even use 30 seconds when I do the music unless there's a joke to it
Yeah.
that's just necessary. Like in the Tenyi Dark Magician video where I did a joke, which I'm not monetized right now, so I don't really care if the guy who owns it gets all the money for it. That's fine. But yeah, that's the difference. Is if you get a copyright strike, that means that like you stole the content and it's not transformative at all.
Yeah. And they'll after 3 copyright strikes, they'll start taking videos down really quickly.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that. So
No.
and the beauty about the copyright claims is, maybe you don't get the money, but at least your channel stays up. So
Yeah. Because you really don't want to lose your channel, considering like you can do a lot on YouTube now. Personally,
yeah, and you could fight it if you really wanted to spend the time and effort to fight it, you can. But I just don't, because there's no point.
yeah, like,
I'm not making any money right now, and I can't. I'm not eligible for monetization. So for right now, there's no point to bother to fight, even if it's in fair use.
like me. I know back whenever I first started YouTube, I did a video where I edited. Cause I got like a 10-hour of non-copyrighted sound rap beats, and people tried to claim it. Well, I sat there and I gave them the link to the video in my appeal, and they straight up lifted all the copyright strikes. They're like, well, dang.
They're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's why. Yeah.
Oh, he's got the rights to that music. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why I look for certain stuff like that where I make sure I can cover my rear end.
Yeah. I mean, and also the cool thing about YouTube is like for the replays on my videos, all the replay music is YouTube music. So it's like I dodge a bullet right there because they're like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, you can use this, and I'm like, sweet.
yeah.
So, and then of course the two part to your question about the time thing is the other part is the replay footage takes a while, just
Yeah.
because I got to get the games in, and I look for truth be told, I'll take like 10 games of footage and then cut it down to like 3, because the whole point of the replay footage is just for you guys to kind of see how the deck kind of works. And yes, I do keep the ones where I win, and the reason why is because when I lose, it's because I messed up as the pilot, not because of the deck.
Exactly. That's why like people be like, well, why are you only showing the wins? Because I know if I show the losses, it's not really mentally going to show that the deck's a good deck. It's going to
Yeah,
make people think, oh, well, maybe it's not as good as he makes it seems.
yeah,
It's just a
because
mentality.
yeah, and most of it is like I said, it's not the deck's fault. It's me. I'm the pilot,
Hmm.
and sometimes I mess up. Sometimes and the truth is like I'm multitasking. Like most of the times when I'm making replay footage, I'm also watching or listening to a Netflix show for my other channel. So it's kind of like I'm doing two things at once here. So yeah, I'm gonna mess up from time to time.
So on to the next question. This is a big one. What card hurt you the most when it got banned?
What card hurt me the most when it got banned? Oof. That is probably a tie between the adult dragon rulers and fairy tale snow. That hurt.
Snow, I
Uh
know, hurt a lot of people.
yeah, well the reason why snow hurt so bad is because and dragon rulers actually to a point as well is because I was using both of those cards in my pet deck, which is Lightsworn. So I played the light when the dragon rulers got like mega hit where like only the big ones were and they were all at one and the rest of them were banned. I put him in my Lightsworn build because we had Eclipse Wyvern at the time, so I could play Lightsworn with Judgment Dragon and all that stuff, and that was the only way we could get Judgment Dragon.
Yeah.
So I went that route, and then of course they banned all the big rulers. And right as I get like, you know what I mean, like they limited them all, well, the big rulers. Like right as I got that last Redox, I was so mad.
Yeah.
That was so there was that, and then they banned them because of dark matter, and then the next one that hurt was Fairy Tale Snow because now my Lightsworn was completely useless because Fairy Tale Snow was their shield, so to speak.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way because back whenever I first picked up Odd Eyes Magicians, I got Astrograph, and a week later it was banned, and I'm like,
Like, you're like,
like
why?
as soon as
Why?
I want to abuse fucking game functions, why won't you let me?
I felt you. And then, of course, like in my part, I was like looking at like Slim, and I made the joke at Slim during his interview. I was like, "Yeah, it's your fault. You were the one playing the Brilliant Fusion Thunder Dragon deck that got
Exactly.
Fairy Tale Snow banned," and he's just sitting there like, "It's not my fault." It was just some good fun banter there.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I have a lot of friends that are pissed off that Brilliant Fusion got banned. Like a
I mean,
lot.
yeah. I mean, and all the other like double summon based kind of cards, they just don't do as well. So
We get it, Konami. You just want us to play double summon. Just chill.
yeah, but if you were going to play double summon, you actually have to give us like a +2 type engine to make it valid.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Because
search a double summon and one normal summonable monster or something like that. Get a
yeah,
spell that does
exactly.
that.
Yeah, you have to give us a +2 or anything that could any deck that could go +2 is the only decks that could viably use it because using double summon is a minus. So you've got to kind of balance it out.
You gotta balance it out with the activation and actually having to use the monster to summon it. You know.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying you can need a way to get to +2, like +1s, like Pot of Desires. And I know that's a hot take for some of the players out
Thank
there.
you.
Yes, it is a
Thank you.
+1.
There's one of my personal friends that's saying it's a -11. I'm like, it's not though. Count the cards you have in hand before you activate. Count the cards in hand after you activate. You gain one card.
Yeah, everyone's inner Eugene like, it's a young mine.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, no, I'm
Oh
disappointed.
man. But yeah, and I get it. Pot of Desires is not for every deck. I understand.
Exactly.
It's not.
It's
I
best
mean,
for
like,
decks that run three of a lot of the main cards because it makes it where you can see it and not have to worry about banishing all three of every type.
exactly. I mean, you wouldn't like an example of it. Like, let me think here, real quick. A deck that you maybe wouldn't want to do it. Like, I don't know. You might want to risk it and say like a Dark Magician or a Blue Eyes deck where that card is a specific thing you need. you know. Otherwise, like think about it, you can't play a Blue Eyes deck without the OG Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Exactly.
It's such a linchpin of that deck.
Because say you
But
ban all three Blue Eyes White Dragon, then you draw an alternative that it's dead.
yeah, exactly. I mean, back when Blue Eyes in 2016, when Blue Eyes was big, I mean, yeah, it worked, but I did see players who also came across the whole, oh crap, I banished all my normal Blue Eyes.
Exactly.
So, I mean, like it's just an example there in that niche scenario, but the realistically, what most likely would happen is you'd probably play Melody first, then you do it to Desires after you've already saved your one Blue Eyes normal dragon. But
Exactly.
the point is, it's just an example. Um, I'm also working with a hero deck right now. Like that's kind of what I was hoping to make for my next video would be a hero deck of some kind, and I'm playing around with different takes on it.
Yeah.
And like that might be an example for me personally why I wouldn't play Desires in it, because I try to make a lot of my decks based off of what I own.
Yeah.
So even though I have 2 pots of Desires, I wouldn't put them in this hero deck because like I don't have like triple Vision Hero Vion, for example. I only
Exactly.
own one. So
And
if
heroes
you
are
have,
very fragile with losing combo pieces. If they lose certain combo piece, you pretty much have to scoop.
yeah, pretty much, like if you lose all your mash changes or your miracle fusions, I mean you're done. You're out.
Yeah.
Or if you play in the good variant, maybe you lose all the stuff that lets you get to your like get your plasma out there and stuff for free.
Exactly. And
So
once you lose that combo, you just kind of like set two pass.
yeah, pretty much,
It
pretty
gets
much.
pretty much awkward, you know.
Yeah.
What card do you think should be banned in this format?
Okay, a banned card. Okay, so Mystic Mind is probably one of the cards that tops my list of cards I would love to get banned.
I'm so happy with you right now.
Yeah, I get it. Trust me, I hate degenerate shit like that. Um, I don't have a problem with negation boards because I feel like I know this is going to be a hot take, but I do feel like cards like Super Poly are kind of fair if you're going to make giant ass negate boards.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, if we're not gonna, if the format was a little slower, then yeah, I would say Super Poly need to go. But it's just no.
Yeah.
It's if people are building like giant negation boards, so yeah, it's fair. I wouldn't be shocked if Dinosaurs or Invoked got hit on the next list. I'm not
Invoked,
saying I
can
want
see.
that. Yeah, I'm not saying I want those decks hit. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked. The reason why though is like, and truth be told, I don't think anything's going to get hit for a while. I think Konami's going to skip the next ban list because we don't really have any official tournaments.
Yeah.
So I think Konami will probably skip the next ban list, and we won't see one probably until probably sometime next year when we can get a vaccine for the whole situation and start going to tournaments again.
Yeah. I mean, one of the cards, like, personally, I wish that was kind of banned right now, is Mystic Mind, because I'm not gonna lie, anytime I play Mystic Mind, I already know kind of duel's over. There's not shit I can do if they drop a Mystic Mind, because most decks don't really run that much spell and trap removal, and they're playing Mystic Mind.
Yeah.
You can't activate monster effects to remove it.
Yeah, and a lot of the cards that are like, I mean, you really have to. There's certain cards you have to play over like the better. Like, all right, so for example, like Twin Twisters versus Cosmic Cyclone. The thing is, Cosmic Cyclone is the better card because it banishes, but Twin Twisters removes more, and so it's like as example is like for Mystic Mind decks, not every deck is able to play those cards. If you're playing like Danger Dark World, you don't want to play. Excuse me, you don't want to play those because though your deck's 90% monsters. So Mystic Mind just shuts you down completely.
I mean, like, with me, because I play also Endymion Mythical Beast, I see Mystic Mind, I kind of have to scoop, because all my monster effects are what takes out spells and traps right now.
Yeah, there you go. Like, exactly. Like, Pendulums are another example of a heavy monster deck that's kind of like, oh, well, I lose. I mean, the only thing that you can hope for is that, like, maybe if you were playing, like, Dragon Pit or something, but...
Even then, no
like,
longer meta relevant like it was.
Yeah, like, are you really going to play that vanilla Magician? No, nobody's going to play that.
Yeah, you're going to be playing Dragon Pulse to take out monsters. But
yeah, exactly. Maybe.
But not Dragon Pit, because the spell and trap removal it's not a lot of people are leaving cards on field.
Yeah,
then, I think we all have PTSD from Waking the Dragon.
Yeah. Well, also, like, yeah, and then, like, Eldritch just kind of giggles if you blow up their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, if you, like, if I blow up their entire back row, they're just like, okay, thanks for the grind game, asshole.
Like, thanks for the +3.
Yeah, they're just basically flipping you off and going, thanks. And then
Yeah.
you're like...
Yeah. Tony plays Elden Lich, and I've been trying to pick it up so I know like what combos to stop and whatnot. And I'm just like, this deck's annoying as fuck.
I haven't gotten a chance to like mess around with it myself, but you know, I'll get around to it eventually. I mean, that's the thing about being a Yugi tuber. I've become a lot better as a player than I was beforehand, because my audience will request decks and then I'm like, well, all right, I guess I better learn how to play this, just at least to make replay footage.
So I'm leaving this challenge to you. Pick up Monarchs.
Pick up Monarchs. Oh man, that one would be difficult because like I learned basic plays with Monarchs a long time ago, so I could like counter them, and then I haven't picked it up since.
I'm not gonna lie, I played it pretty much every version. I played the 2 main versions of Monarchs. There's Extra Deck Monarchs, and then there's Domain Monarch.
Didn't Extra Deck Monarchs play that the Power Ranger, the red one?
I think they did for a little bit, but then with all the like restoration and everything coming out, they kind of cycled it out, because all they really have to do is just drop Zaborg if they can get into it first turn, and then there's not really much what it can do after that if they're Extra Deck heavy, especially Link format. Oh, I was playing that at like the very beginning, because if you took out people's links, they're like,
yeah, like what do you do?
Yeah.
Oh, another reason why I want Mystic Mind to go away is I'm sorry to bring this back, but I was like, one of the decks I like to mess around with is Goki, just because it goes plus like super easy.
Didn't you just upload a Goki video like today?
Recently, yeah, I did that whole, maybe not yet, yeah, yesterday I did that video, and that video took a couple days to make because I had to make that whole little cartoon there for a second. Because like literally, I had to take that image from that episode and then like make a PNG out of that monster, and then I had to like slap them together and get a sound bite and all that stuff. So yeah.
All right. Now here's a question that that I personally find the best part of this podcast. What is your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh memory?
My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh memory. That's a tough one. I've got a few good ones. Let's see here. I won't mention names for my friends and acquaintances' sake, but like I've got a ton of us like winning with stuff we shouldn't win with against people that are way better at the game than I am. I remember I beat a guy with playing like Lightsworn, and he was playing Deskbots, and I like top decked a BLS and took the game from him.
I played Despots for like 3 months, man. Despots are actually kind of a solid deck.
Yeah, and he got all the support and everything, and I just top decked I remember I used like Gusto Emerald, cycled the BLS in my graveyard back because BLS was like at 1 at the time.
Yeah.
I shuffled the deck and then handed it to him. He shuffled it, and then I drew that same BLS that I just spun back.
I can imagine you just hopping up and down like a little kid in a candy store, like.
I was just like, I was sitting there giving him the shit-faced grin, like, and then I think I banished like a Necro Gardna and a random Lightsworn monster. I was like, I win, attack, and he was just sitting there like, God damn it, he was so mad.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like one of my top 3 favorite memories is the first time I topped the locals.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
that I'm talking about. Like I was playing for a solid 6 months. It's like right whenever I first picked up Odd Eyes Magicians, and I was like, you know what? I'm going in headstrong today. I'm not going to make any misplays. And I sat there, and me and the dude that usually topped, we had like a full 40-minute grind game for round, and we
just
won.
Sitting there, it was like a wrestling match.
1 card because I burned them for 500.
There you go, man. That's all it takes.
And they're like, all right, because it was back before the new time rules, and he's like, you know what? We're time on round. Last 3 turns. Got to the last turn, and I was like.
Actually, what's funny is I also I get to thank Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually got me laid once, if you can believe that.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it actually got me lucky. There was a chick friend of mine that played Yu-Gi-Oh! She doesn't play anymore, but she used to play, and we had a one night thing. So, and I was like, man, Yu-Gi-Oh! Got me laid. So, there you go.
Thank you, Seto Kaiba.
Thank you, Maximilian Pegasus. I'm just kidding. That's a horrible joke.
What's that? That's something that's like really flipped nowadays. Is like, I know back when I was younger, being a nerd wasn't like the coolest thing, and then now like everybody's a nerd now.
Oh yeah, everybody's a nerd, and that's the thing is it's not as weird anymore as it used to be. Like people like everybody likes something that's nerdy now. I mean, like they like Game of Thrones, The Witcher,
Dungeons and
Supernatural,
Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, even if you want to go like old school like that, I'm just saying like because of like a lot of like modern cinema, I would say like being like even the Marvel movies have added to it.
Yeah.
But being geeky has like I remember there were guys who used to give me shit all the time in high school, and then Iron Man came out, and they were like, Brian, we know you can read comic books. What do you know about Iron Man?
Exactly.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, here's everything I know about it. And then like, and then the guys who used to give me shit all the time were like, so you want to go? Let's go see Iron Man. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it used to be so like you used to get made fun of. I personally was bullied for 3 years because I'm a bigger fella, and I was a nerd, and everybody's like bullied me about it. But like I went back to that school for my senior year because we moved back and my grades weren't doing the best at the time, and turn around and I go in there and everybody's acting like a nerd, and I actually got a few apologies for it, like, yo, we're sorry we were so mean to you back in the day.
Man, I wish some of my bullies would have apologized. Most of those guys were dickheads.
Most of them didn't, but there was a few that did. And what's sad is that me and them are still kind of friends, and I message them every now and then, like, "Hey, what's you up to?"
Yeah. I mean, like the guys who used to give me shit, like they gave me shit in like junior high. So not really in high school. In high school, I was mostly ignored. And then like my senior year when Iron Man came out, the people who kind of ignored me were kind of like, hey, you know about comic book stuff. You're like, you like all that superhero stuff. And I'm like, yep, that's my cup of tea, man.
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh, I'm not that weird.
Yeah, you were just vibing. You were vibing, doing what you enjoyed.
Yeah, that's literally all I was doing, man. That's just like I literally like if you go and saw like 10-year-old Brian, or Ben for those who because my real name is Brian for those who don't know. So if you go to like 10-year-old Brian, he was like sitting there drawing pictures of Spider-Man and Superman all the time, So
Spider-Man, let's go. Which Spider-Man's your favorite?
oh man, that's a tough one, man. They all have great, like all the movies have like a great scene or performance in them that I enjoy. So it's kind of hard for me to pick one. Tobey Maguire has nostalgia. Andrew Garfield, I feel like he was the best Spider-Man, not so much Peter Parker, but best Spider-Man. He was really good about delivering those quick punt. Yeah, the quips. Yeah, that Spider-Man's known for. Yeah. He was really good at that. And then Tom Holland, the newest Spider-Man, that kid's he's a really good balance and he does a really good like young Peter Parker. So
I love Tobey Maguire. He's like I loved him because I watched all the Spider-Man growing up, and it's Tobey Maguire. Just like that's part of my soul, man.
There you go. Hot take. I actually liked Spider-Man 3.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, everybody like Spider-Man 3 was trash. Spider-Man 3 is probably one of the best Spider-Mans I've seen.
Kidding me? It was that one, and then plus that movie had some of the funniest stuff in it, and it was like when he's like evil or emo Spider-Man or whatever, he's like dancing down the street in a suit, and I'm just over here giggling like, oh my god,
cringe, but it's funny cringe. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, kidding me? That would be. I was like, that would be me. That would be me if I ever got down. Like if I ever got like an overconfident version of myself, that would be me. I'd be the guy who was just dancing down the middle of the street for no reason. Just hey, what's up? Oh man. So, just is there anything else you'd like to ask? I mean, I'm an open book, man. I don't have.
I have one last question, but you kind of answered part of it. What other hobbies do you have? Because you told me the Netflix shows, the comics.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, yeah, that's another thing. Like, don't get me wrong, Yu-Gi-Oh is a big time passion for me, right? Mm-hmm. It's definitely the centerpiece of my existence. But I do like, I like superhero stuff. I do like to play some. I like to dabble in like different kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh formats. Like I have a Game Boy game still that I play every now and then. I enjoyed the Capsule Monsters PS2 game for Yu-Gi-Oh, and then of course I like superhero stuff, like because obviously my whole channel is kind of centered around that idea. Because and here's just a free, just because you don't even have to ask about this one. Another reason why I chose the superhero gimmick, as my naysayers have called it, is because superheroes are like the best versions of real people, and they come in every shape and size, and all of the sexual identities that you can think of. Yeah. There's literally a superhero, like doesn't matter if you're straight, you're gay, atheist, Christian, doesn't matter what you believe in. There's a superhero. Yeah, there's that exactly, and that's the best part about it is, and they all are the best versions of that too. Like, like Batman's met God, still an atheist, and he's still like the best version of an atheist. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
He said, "And who the
Uh,
fuck are you?"
it's like, I don't care. I don't care if you made the cosmic universe. I'm Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Can't top that.
Yeah,
um, and that's the coolest thing in my opinion. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are, and I like superhero stuff because like literally they're the best versions of us. So,
yeah.
and there's, I mean, literally I could gush about superhero stuff forever, man. I'm not even
Yeah,
kidding.
I think I could too. Cause like I wasn't like that deep into like superheroes except for like the DC universe, and then I started opening up to the Marvel universe, and Jesus, the Marvel universe is so deep.
Yeah, I mean, and plus the DC movies. I mean, you know what DC's problem with their movies? I'll flat out say it.
Mhm.
DC's problem with their movies is they're afraid to follow the Marvel metric that works.
Yeah, I
Like, it's
mean,
okay to go dark. I mean, obviously Deadpool was a success. Look at it.
mhm.
Look at Deadpool. It's a dark Marvel character movie, so dark can work. It's just, and there are like Fox has done some good stuff. Like the X-Men movies weren't bad in my opinion.
Oh no, the X Men
Wolverine was
movies are
very gut
great.
wrenching. Yeah, like Logan or whatever. Like Logan, the last Wolverine movie
Yeah,
was very gut wrenching. So you can do serious and superhero stuff at the same time. It's just there. I just think that the DC guys are so afraid of being called knockoffs. I'm like, you don't. But that's the thing is, you don't have to worry about that. It's just the metric for superhero movies. You tell a good story, and it just so happens our hero is a superhero.
hmm I
Like
mean,
like at the I mean, at the end of the day, think about it. That's what Captain America is. It's an espionage story. He's just James Bond in red and blue tights.
exactly. I mean, my thing
So
about it, the thing about it is like, if Marvel is doing good in their movies but not so good on the shows, but DC's doing good on the shows and not so good in movies, you would figure they try and work together, try and like figure out where they're messing up on the other end, you know?
yeah, well, and, I can tell you, when you look at the Marvel, if you look at the Marvel shows, the reason why they're not hitting is because they're all like B-list characters that just aren't interesting and they're not telling compelling stories. So you know what I mean? Like, and then you look at DC shows, and the DC are following the Marvel method.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally like, if you look at the Flash, right? It's a popular DC show.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the way that show functions, it's very similar to the way if you were watching a superhero movie on that's been made by Marvel. You have your hero, you have your touching moments that make you care about the hero, you have the challenges that he faces. You follow that metric. And if you look at it, like I said with Captain America even being an espionage movie,
Mm-hmm.
with us, it just happens the guy your James Bond wears tights. It's the same way with Barry Allen. It's a detective show. The
Mm-hmm.
Flash is a detective show, but our detective happens to be the fastest man alive.
Exactly.
And that's the metric to a good superhero story. You tell a superhero story, and that's why also why Marvel does better, I think, is storytelling in general than DC. Because even though DC has some very lovable characters, and we have to really thank DC because DC has like some of the first superheroes that ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
Without Superman and Batman, we don't get the rest of them.
Exactly.
So it's just that Marvel's really good about taking this real aspect about a person and then applying it to a superhero format. Like, think about it. Peter Parker, why is Spider-Man so popular? He's poor. He has real people problems,
Exactly.
and that's what makes him interesting.
Mhm. I
I
mean,
mean, and DC's getting better at it. Like, if you look at the new Superman comics, what's a real person problem Superman has now? He's a dad.
hmm
I
that's
mean,
tough.
there's saying,
I said that's tough.
yeah, it is. There's a lot of challenges that come with being a parent. I mean, much less being the parent of a super child, which I mean that would come with its own issues, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, but think about this: like, if you are a parent and your kid gets bullied a lot, that's got to be hard. Like, I can't imagine like what my parents went through, dealing with me getting bullied all the time as a kid and coming home crying and being upset and being asked like, why am I ugly or stupid or whatever
Yeah.
the kids at school made me feel like. And then my parents happened to go, like, and that's the thing about that kind of thing that makes Spider-Man so interesting, and a lot of other characters is they take that real world thing that happens, and it just, you know, like you can still get bullied and still be super strong,
Yeah. Exactly. That's how I was. Like me, I played football, but I was like, it just I was the awkward kid, you know.
Yeah.
I went to a rich kid school, but I was living in the poor part of town.
I feel you there, man. I live in the Bible Belt here in Texas, so legitimately I was like the poor kid at the rich church. So, and I don't go to church anymore for personal reasons, but
Yeah.
the it's just the relatable thing that I have to that is I had peers who looked down on me for having less money than them.
I mean, I live in North Texas, Dallas Fort Worth area, so
Oh, okay.
yes,
Oh man, so you and I are kind of in the same. We're in the same state. We're in Texas.
yeah, Texas is a
That's
good thing.
Yeah. What's funny is there's a lot of Texas Yugi tubers that a lot of people don't know this. Like for example, I know House of Champs and Cyber Knight are both Texas Yugi tubers.
I knew about House of Champs surprisingly because I knew because one of the Fort Worth regionals he was at.
Yep.
I knew
And
about
then
that.
I think JCD might also be in Texas. I think he's Houston, but
Yeah.
you know. But there you go. There's a lot more of us than people think.
Yeah.
There should be like a
I,
Texas YouTuber coalition or something.
I mean, hold up. I might be able to make this a Discord server. I'm kidding.
Do
I
it.
mean, we might
Do it.
actually be able to make something happen with that though. Honestly, we might be able to make a little group and make something happen.
That would be awesome, man. Oh man. But yeah, you can ask me anything, man. Like
Yeah.
that, I'm having fun. So if you want to ask anything,
I mean,
go ahead.
I think I've got everything for the video.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, man, you literally could ask me anything. I'm an open book.
What's
The
9
only
plus 10?
What's 9 plus 10? Go fuck it. No, I'm just kidding. 19.
Good.
But there you go.
Yeah. So
So
actually,
go
I
ahead.
do have one final question.
Yeah, go ahead. You can ask me a ton of questions. I don't
Who's your
care.
favorite YouTuber right now?
Oh, my favorite YouTuber, man. That's a hard one. That's a hard one.
It is. They all release like specific content that I enjoy.
Yeah, like I say, so I kind of want to say Yugi No, but that's just because I really love his sense of humor and his skits.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say him, but I do have a few others that I do enjoy for different things. So like if I was gonna say like a fellow small creator I really like, and I know she probably won't hear this, but Zombie Queen is somebody I really like, and she does like she mostly does like Yu-Gi-Oh art. I really liked her for her artwork, and she's a personal friend of mine. So shout outs to Zombie Queen if she should ever hear this. I also like I even like Team Sam. And I know he's considered a bit obnoxious by many people in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, which I don't get it, but I think it's just his content is so energizing, and I enjoy that. So, and then there's just tons of people out there that are interesting. I think, I mean, life's just interesting in general, in my opinion.
Personally, my favorite one, and I want to try and get him on here sometime. Nim Nim.
Nim Nim. Ooh, I also have been trying to talk to Gage. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook, if you can believe that or not, and I still haven't been able to ask him to be on my channel or anything.
Yeah, I know it's tough. That's why I followed him on Twitter. I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try until I can't.
Go for it, man. I mean, the worst the guy can tell you is no.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's why I followed the mentality, and that's why I'll that's why I was like, I'll meme and shoot my shot at you. The worst he can tell me is no. Like, he'll probably tell me no. He said, yeah. Like I said, I was like, Tony, he's like, what? I was like, he told me yes. He wants to be on. He's like, no way. I sent him the screenshot. He's like, oh.
You know what? Here's something funny.
Yeah.
I had that same experience with Yugi No. Not even kidding. This was years ago. This is I want to say a couple months before he quit the first time. I actually have a Cyber Dragon signed by him, and I asked him for an interview, and then he was all like, he's like, yeah, sure. And then he left that whole event, and I was like, well, that's okay. I had to leave the event early. Well, then him and I were planning some collab stuff because he was coming on my channel to do some some silly stuff because actually the interview video, that's not the first time he's been on my channel. The first time was with my end of my Structure Deck Wars series. He was on the final episode of that.
Wasn't it at the very beginning? He was in the intro.
Yes, he plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Jesus and tells me that the fight isn't over, and I have to go fight this other one more Structure Deck monster, and I'm like, oh no. Yeah, so there's that whole line of humor there, and he uses his green screen to make it look like he's in my room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really was starstruck. I'm not gonna lie. I personally thought man, this man has 53,000 subs. I barely have 100 something. why would
Yeah.
this man want to talk to me? He said,
That,
yeah.
the truth.
I was like,
Actually, the
bruh.
truth is, I think Tyler does have a sense of community. He really does,
Mhm.
and he wants to, and he knows that he doesn't want to do Yugi Tube forever. But that doesn't. But I think some part of him, and this isn't anything he's ever said to me, or anything like that. This is just something. This is just a vibe I get. I feel like maybe he's trying to like kind of set up the next group.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I do know from talking to him that he doesn't plan to do this forever. He
Exactly.
does eventually want to go branch out to doing other kinds of content. But I do know that. But
Like, I'm
I
waiting on
do
him
know.
to release music personally. I'm waiting on that.
Who knows, man?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what he'll come up with. I just know it'll be interesting. That's all I can tell you.
I agree.
But the thing is, like with Tyler, is like I feel like he's setting up the next group of people to do kind of what he does. You know what I mean? Or like kind of a passing of the torch, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what I think really happened with like him and Galactic God.
Mhm.
Galactic God kind of quit, and then Tyler kind of took up
Yeah.
his space on the YouTube thing because they did a collab together. So a lot of Galactic Gods subs that were still active subs went over there to Yugi No No, and I
Exactly.
think Yugi No No is just kind of doing the same thing with other people.
Yeah.
So maybe on a smaller.
He's trying to be that open book where you can be like, hey, I want to make sure that y'all keep this going because.
Yeah, because like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like I think Yu-Gi-Oh will always have a spot in all of us. I mean, there's so much that has been learned and given and gained from that show, and which is really odd for a niche geekdom, so to speak. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This whole thing is there's so much around it. There's an anime, there's a manga, there's video games, there's events, and people have met and relationships have been started. I mean,
Exactly.
everything from just platonic friendships to romantic relationships. I literally remember hearing about a couple that met at a Yu-Gi-Oh event and ended up getting married. So
Mhm.
it's not crazy. I mean, this whole event is this whole phenomenon that is Yu-Gi-Oh is just vast and wild, and I feel like that's something that Tyler probably does want to keep going when it's all like when he's done being a Yugi tuber and decides to branch off. I mean, we let's face it, we know that he's gonna pass the torch to somebody.
Mhm.
He's going to say, okay, well, if you like Yu-Gi-Oh content, this guy over here is the guy who's still doing it that I like. So go
I mean,
watch him.
I don't think he's gonna still just do one person. I think he's gonna like bring out a lot of
Yeah,
people in the
he
community
might.
that
Yeah, he might
deserve
have a
it.
list. He might have a list of people as long as my arm.
Mhm.
So I completely agree with you on that. I'm just saying that, like, he seems like the type of guy that when he's finally done and wants to move on to do different kinds of content, which I think a lot of people are like that. Although personally, this is you hear it now. I'd love to be the oldest guy playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I think just saying, I'd love to be the old, like being instead of the joke would be like the new channels that have been 2000 YGO. Like when I'm the older guy here in the group, I'll change the name to Grandpa Ben.
Yep. Been 100,000.
Ben, the oldest bastard in Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, that's just something I think about, because this game has a lot of, outside stuff in it, and a lot of people won't think about. So,
So, do you have any questions for me? That's the fun one.
oh, okay, yeah, I mean, so, your channel is called Call Me Robin, right?
Mm-hmm.
What inspired that, if you don't mind me asking?
I originally went by AJ Games because that's my initials. Well, my name's Austin Jacob, and that's where I
Yeah.
got AJ Games. And then my brother, he started live streaming before I did, and he went by TX, called me Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always been a Batman fan. So I was like, you know what, I'll be your sidekick, and we'll go with the call me thing. I'll go Robin. And it kind of
Okay,
led into
that's
that. And then I slowly just transformed my brand from AJ Games to the Call Me Robin.
oh, that's fun. So both you and I both have that in common, then, where we kind of have like a superhero-esque theme.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
and
I
in
just enjoyed that's why I enjoyed like anytime about like me and my brother talk about the channel. I'm like, you're the one that really got me the name idea because I knew AJ Games wasn't gonna last forever. I
yeah.
don't really see my name being on there because it wasn't just me. It's kind of like me and my friends, you know.
Right. I mean, and that's another thing, like, when talking about, like, like players quitting, all that stuff, like, that's the worst part for a team, I think. Like, it's a fun fact about Slim that you may not know. If you ever heard of, who Slim YGO is,
Yes.
right? Okay, I'm just making sure that
Yeah.
he knew who I was talking about. He actually used to be, his channel was like a team-based channel. Like he was part of like he was like known as Slim X Team Symmetry or whatever. So he was like, you know, the Slim of Team Symmetry. And then that team disbanded, and then his name and stuff, like, you know, just kind of shifted around until now he's just Slim YGO. He's keeping it simple. And so I mean, that's the only thing that sucks about a team is, like, you know, they don't always stick
together.
around.
And
Yeah.
that's why I've gone with the Call Me Robin, and like even with my gaming thing, part of an
Mhm.
org now that me and my friends have started doing. It started off kind of as a speedrunning joke that we're like, oh yeah, we're Gut Squad because my friend's name's Gooderin and he's been doing this for a
Yeah.
while, and we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're Gut Squad, and now we're talking about trying to start doing competitive like Call of Duty, and I've been trying to get them in Rainbow Six Siege, stuff like that. It's just trying to open our horizons that way, like, hey, maybe we can actually do some good stuff here, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and then, like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I feel like every Yu-Gi-Tuber probably has that side project too. Like, you know, I mean, none of us are strictly Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I said, I do Netflix stuff, and if Netflix closes down, it's not like there'll be a shortage of streaming services for me to just pick one.
Yeah.
You know.
Hulu, Tubi, there's a lot of different things you can just go
Yeah,
straight to.
exactly. So I'm not too worried about like my other channel ever losing content, because it's like there'll always be new movies and like fresh takes on old movies. So it'll be, you know, it's that channel. I'm not. That's like my long term channel. I'll let that be like my Boogie 2988 style channel over there,
Yeah.
and let this be my here and now. Even though my Yu-Gi-Oh, which is weird because my Yu-Gi-Oh channel is more popular, but I felt probably because, you know, it's a smaller niche than just the geekdom as a whole, which is the other one.
And I'm sure that's probably like why you probably enjoy, why you still keep doing the other ones, because you enjoy how it is on there because you're acting as yourself. You're not having to
Yeah,
go on and put on the different style for the video or
yeah. I
anything
don't have to put
else.
on a watch or anything like that. No, I just basically watch the show. I flip the camera on. I give my opinion for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then I cut it and post it. It's really simple like that.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, people want my opinion on random shows. I don't know why.
Me,
So
like me, like I said, I'm a horror movie junkie.
a horror. That's all. You say horror or horror?
Horror, like
Okay, I heard
like
horror.
slashers.
I was like, so you like porn?
I mean,
I mean,
a lot of people do. Let's leave it at
yeah.
that.
I'm not judging nobody. You kidding me?
Exactly.
I don't have time for that.
I'm
I
afraid to
do
see your
not.
search history, man.
And man, I will show my search history. That's right. I'm gonna teach you youngins something.
Shit.
Oh god, that's a horrible joke, isn't it? Like, just
That
to be
is
completely unabashed and be like, "That's right. There's my porn history. That's right. Be disgusted. I don't care."
disgusting.
Oh man, somebody would be. Somebody would be. Somebody be like, "You can do that." Somebody in the background be sitting there with, like, you know, a notepad and a pen and paper, and I was just sitting there like,
Hey,
you
let me
know,
take some notes real quick on this shit.
mine to Google that.
Make sure you're in incognito now.
Yeah, and other people would be like, "Oh my god, is that what? Oh my god, is that tentacle going where I think it's going?" I like anime, so I figured that'd just be the next logical step for pornography.
Yeah, there you go.
So somebody's gonna think I like hentai, so I figured, fuck, I'll just go with it.
Just
I don't.
retweet it to his Twitter.
Yeah, go ahead. Just yeah, at Unbound Brian, you'll find me a lot faster.
Just
Show me your hentai. I shouldn't say that on camera. Somebody will
I
do
don't
it.
care, man. I'm posting this in the hole. I don't care.
Go for it, man. I'm not
Yeah.
worried. I'm really not worried.
Any
If
other
somebody wants to
questions?
share their hentai with me, I'll be
Yeah.
like, fine, cool.
You're like,
Whatever.
man, you're not gonna buy a hentai folder, no.
Just, yeah, I'm not. You're not getting mine, but if you really want to send me theirs, I don't care.
So, any other questions?
No, not really. Nothing really comes to mind at the moment. I just figured, like, you know, you probably had more for me because, you know,
Yeah.
I'm the guest here.
Yeah. I try and keep it simple. Like we talked a lot of stuff out, but I want to
Yeah,
say
like,
thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you here for Ben 10K. Again, I'll put his Twitter and his YouTube in the description if y'all want to go follow him on, subscribe to him on YouTube, follow him on Twitter. He's a really nice dude, as y'all can tell.
I try. I try.
Yeah, and go support both of us because we're trying in this YouTube community. Everybody have
Yeah.
a great day. This is
Everybody.
Call Me Robin signing out.